Okay. Hmm. So in TCP/IP protocol, what we do is it is a connection-oriented protocol. So it provides a flow control, error control mechanism. It will be provide functionalities. It will be providing. Whereas UDP is nothing but user datagram protocol. So in user datagram protocol, what happens is it is a connectionless oriented protocol. It is a connectionless oriented protocol. Therefore, it does not provide error control, flow control mechanism. But some applications we are going to use a UDP protocol, and some applications we will be using a TCP protocol. So if the data is very important and we need to get acknowledgement for each transmission means, then we use a TCP protocol. If the data is not that much of not important, just I want to transmit the data means, then we go for a UDP protocol. Okay, so that is all about your TCP and IP protocol. The next one is network layer protocol. See, the network layer protocol, we are going to call it as a host to host communication. What do you mean by host to host? It is something like door to door communication. So in general, if I write one letter and if I transmit through post means, then the letter will be reaching my door to door process. So that is called as a end to end, that is host to host communication. Okay, so this network layer protocol will be working based upon one important protocol, that is nothing but IP protocol. So IP is nothing but internet protocol. There are two types of internet protocols are there. One is IP version 4, IP version 6. Okay, so what is the difference between IP version 4 and IP version 6? We will see it in a later, but you should remember that there are two protocols are there. One is IPv4 protocol is there, and IPv6 protocol is there in a network layer. So it is responsible for routing the packet, means forwarding the packet. So when it receives the packet, it will see where exactly the receiver is there. So in that direction it will forward the packet. The next one is data link layer, that is a data link layer. In the data link layer, what happens is, see, of course we will be having a data to be transmitted from source to destination, but through which link we need to transmit. So means what, who is the next node I need to transmit the data, so that the next node will communicate to the next neighboring node. So therefore it is necessary for us to know who is a mediator or who is the interferer, so that I can pass my data to him and he can pass the data to the next person. So that is why we need to establish a link to link communication that will be done by a data link layer. Okay, so in the data link layer, as I told you, there are two sub layers are there. The upper layer we are going to call it as a data link control layer, DLC, data link control layer, and the lower layer we are going to call it as a MAC layer, that is nothing but medium access control layer. Okay, so this is responsible for framing the packet, and for error correction and detection it is used for data link layer. And the last one is we are going to call it as a physical layer. Okay, in the physical layer what we do, can anybody tell me physical layer, what are the uses of the physical layer? Is anyone? We talked this physical layer, right? Can anybody tell me what are the uses or functionalities of this physical layer?
Host to host.
Physical layer, Jayavardhan, last layer I am talking about.
It converts a stream of bits into symbols, sir.
Yes, very good. Yes, very good. It converts a stream of bits into signals. So depending upon the how we have connected two devices, if it is a cable connection means, then it will convert the bits into electrical signal. If it is a wireless connection means, it will convert the bits into electromagnetic waves. If the link between one device to another device, if it is an optical cable means, then it converts the bits into light signal, so that the light signal will pass us through the optical signal, so that it will reach to the destination. So the physical layer is responsible for converting the bits into corresponding signal depending upon the transmission media. Okay, so we were talking about a data link layer. You can see here the data link layer, it has been divided into two sub layer. Can you able to see the PPTs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see here the data link layer, it has been divided into two layer, sub layer. One is a top layer, we are going to call it as a data link control sub layer, and the bottom layer we are going to call it as a medium access control sub layer. Okay, so why we require this data link control layer and medium access control layer is, see, one link will be established to have a interface between your network layer and a physical layer. Okay, so why we should have an interface? Because network layer we receive the data, and the data what we have received, it has to be given to the physical layer. Okay, so therefore it acts like a interference, or it acts like a interferer between the network layer and a physical layer. Okay, so what it coordinates, okay, so it coordinates whatever the data will be received from the network layer, and it will convert them into frames, and it do some error correction and error detection mechanisms. So these are the functionalities will be done in a data link control layer. And the one more layer we have there, that is a lower layer, that is nothing but medium access control layer. Okay, so this medium access control layer plays an important role when the transmission media between the two devices is a wireless. Okay, so if I want to transmit a data from my system to my mobile, either it may be Bluetooth, or it may be Zigbee, or it may be through Wi-Fi. In such a cases, what happens is the medium access control layer will be a crucial part in establishing a connection from my laptop to my mobile, so that I can transmit the data. Okay, and there are two types of links will be established in a data link layer. One link we are going to call it as a point to point link, and one more link we are going to call it as a broadcast link. So what do you mean by point to point? Point to point link means there will be two entity will be there. One entity will be transmitter and one more entity will be receiver. So in such a cases, the medium access layer will not come into picture. Okay, in point to point link, there because there are only two entities are there, transmitter is there and receiver is there, so the connection will be established simultaneously and the data will be transmitted. But whereas if the link is broadcast, so means what, if I want to transmit the data for multiple users. Okay, so let's say I have a laptop, and for this laptop I want to connect my laptop to 5 devices, 5 mobiles I want to connect, and for 5 mobiles simultaneously I want to transmit the data. If that is the case means, then the medium access control layer will come into picture. How it will come into picture, what are the users of this medium access control layer, we will see it in the next chapter. Okay, so these are the two layers what we will be having in a data link layer. Okay, one layer we are going to call it as a data link control. It is also called as a logical link control. Also we will be calling it data link control. It is also called as a logical link layer or logical link control, LLC. DLC it can be called, or it can be called as a LLC, logical link control. Whereas MAC layer, there is no any alternative name. It is MAC layer only. Okay, so that is all about your data link layer. Okay, and when we talk about a data link layer, so as I told you, if you want to transmit the data, then IP address we will be having, but we don't know through which link we need to transmit the data. Therefore, in logical layer we will be using one more addressing mode, that is called as a MAC addressing mode. That is nothing but a logical addressing mode we will be using. Okay, so through the use of logical these layering addresses, we can establish a connection from one device to another device, so that we can transmit or we can route our data from source to destinations. Okay, so therefore we will be using a MAC addresses and a logical addresses in data link layer. Okay, so now you can see here we have a transmitter and we have a receiver. The transmitter we are going to call it as a Alice, and the receiver we are going to call it as a Bob. So now you can see here the Alice is connected to a router 1, and this router 1 and router 2 they have a link, and through the link L4 and L5, whereas R2 is connected to the receiver, that is a Bob 3 from the link 3. Okay, so you can see here we have a link 1 between Alice to router 1, link 2 between router 1 to router 2, and link 3 between R2 to the receiver Bob. So now you can see here when a data has been received from Alice in the network layer, so it will be having, you can see here, it will be having only this data it will be having. So what data it will be having is N1, N8 data. This is the data we have received from the network layer in the Alice device. Okay, so now this Alice device in the data link layer, what it does is it will add two more addresses. You can see here it will add two more addresses. So what are the addresses it is adding? It is adding two logical addresses. Therefore it is written, you can see here, L2 and L1 for the frame. Okay, so now you can see here the data what we have received from the network layer. So network layer, I told you, right, it is a host to host, or it is a IP protocol. So therefore you can see here N1 is a transmitter, N8 is the receiver. N1 is the IP address of the transmitter, N8 is the IP address of the receiver, and whatever the data we want to have, that is the data. Okay, so that is a datagram, we will be calling it in the network layer. So this datagram will act like a data in the data link control layer. So in this data link control layer, what we do is we will add a logical address. You can see here L1 is the logical address of the Alice and L2 is the logical address of the R1, means router 1. So it will transmit the frame. So you can see here it has generated the frame. So you can see what is frame. Frame is nothing but logical address along with a datagram. So datagram is nothing but the source address, destination address and the data. Okay, so this frame will be reached to R1. Now R1 we will see. So it will be having a routing table we call. Okay, in routing table we will be having where exactly the Bob is present, in which link the Bob is present. So but this R1 cannot directly transmit the data to the Bob or the receiver. So he will be seeing. So what is the next immediate router so that I can transmit the data, so that he can transmit the data to the receiver. So it will check or it will see, is there any link between R1 and R2? So yes, there is a link. What is the link? L2 link is there. So what is that? L4 and L5. So now you can see here the data will go to the data link layer of the router. So you can see here again it has changed the logical addresses. So you can see here L5 is the receiver, L4 is the link which has been established in the router 1 and followed by the data what we have received in the transmitter. Okay, so that will be reaches to the router 2. So now the router 2 will see. So where exactly the data has to go? The data has to go to the N8. So what is the logical address of that? So it is nothing but L8. And what is the logical address through which the data is transmitting? That is nothing but L4. So it will attach the logical address L4 and L8 along with your datagram so that it will transmit it to the receiver Bob. Okay, so this is how the data will be reached in the data link layer. See, whatever we are talking, it is only in the data link layer when you have a communication from transmitter to receiver. Okay, so now you can see here in the data link layer, it will see, okay, L8 is means I have received a packet from R2 and through the link L8. Okay, L4 is the link we have received from R2. Now it will dispatch this L8, that means it will eliminate this L8 and L7. Next it will see the datagram. So datagram 1 means what? Okay, N1 is the transmitter. Okay, N1 is the transmitter IP address. Now anyway, N8 transmit receiver. So it will see, okay, whether N8 is belongs to me. Yes, I am a IP address with having N8. So yes, the data will belongs to me. So what it does is it will eliminate this N1 and N2 in the network layer, and data will be transmitted to the next layer, that is nothing but transport layer. So this is how the data will be transmitted in the logical layer. Is that clear? Did you understood this one, this concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we will go to the next section. Okay, so now see, when we transmit the data in the data link layer, there are three important services which will be provided, or three important addresses we have in a data link layer. Okay, so what are those data addresses is, the first we are going to call it as a unicast services. First one you are going to call it as a unicast, or also it is called as a one-to-one. So when I want to transmit the data in the data link layer through one link only, then it is called as a one-to-one link. Or else we have one more link or one more service, what we have a one-to-all. So means what? When I transmit the data, it should pass through all the links. the data should pass through all the links. Means what? One to many we are going to call it as. One to all means to whoever the link is belongs, for all of them the data will be transmitted. That we are going to call it as a broadcast. So the next one is one to several. So one to several we are going to call it as a multicast. So it is something like if I call one student and if I give some information, or if I tell some circular means, then it is a one-to-one connection. If I call to come to class and if I inform to everyone means, then it is called as a broadcast. Or else what I will do is I will call only specific number of students in the class and I will pass my information. So that we are going to call it as a multicast. So in multicast, what? More than one members I will be transmitting the data, but those members I will be selecting. But whereas in broadcast, it is not the option like that. So I want to transmit the data to everyone. Okay, so that is nothing but your broadcast. Okay, so you can see here the diagram. So through the diagram you can able to understand. So okay, so unicast you can see here, the transmitter is there, receiver is, the data will be transmitted. Whereas in broadcast, from one transmitter to all them, we are transmitting, all the members they are receiving the data. So that is nothing but a broadcast. And the third one is multicast. So you can see here in multicast we have a source. So from the source the data is transmitting to two or more members. So in such a cases we are going to call it as a multicast. So next, so how you differentiate, then how you identify the addresses, whether it is a unicast, whether it is a broadcast, or whether it is a multicast. Okay, so in order to know that, so we are given this diagram. So you can see here unicast address, source will be having one IP address. So IP address will be 32 bits. Okay, IP address will be 32 bits, or we are going to call it as a 6 character it will be having. So we will see how exactly the IP address will be there. Okay, so in unicast address, so you can see here one transmitter is there and one receiver is there. So you see here the transmitter is transmitting the packet to the router, and the router it will see, so to which device the data has to transmit, only to that device the data is transmitting. You can see here in the green color. Okay, so in the bottom that is a transmitter, and we have 4 receiver devices, but I am transmitting the device only to the particular device, that is nothing but the second device. So you can see here the link has been established through the use of green color. So it is a unicast. So means what? Point to point. So source will be having one address and receiver will be having one address. So through the use of the source and receiver address, we can able to establish, or we can able to transmit the data. Okay, so the next one is multicast. Okay, so in multicast you can see here we have a transmitter is there, and in the router the same data is being passing to 2 devices. Okay, you can see the green color. Okay, so such a mechanism we are going to call it as a multicast addresses. Okay, so you can see here in multicast frame the value 1 in the least significant bit of the first octet of the destination address. Okay, so this is the destination address. You can see here in the destination address the value 1 in the least significant bit of the first octet. You can see here 0 1. So 0 1. So 0 how you can write? 4 0 zeros you can write. So 1 how you can write? 0 0 0 1. So you can see here the least significant bit, the least significant bit is 1. So therefore such a type of addresses we are going to call it as a multicast addresses. So means what? 1 to 1. So through the use of this IP address, you can see here how many octets are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 are there. Okay, so each is having 8 bit. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, 6 8 is how much it will be? Okay, so based upon that we will be having a IP addresses. Next one is broadcast address. Okay, so in broadcast address, so you can see here all devices are receiving the data. So you can see a green color line, you can see all devices are receiving the data. So the transmitter is transmitting the data and the receiver is receiving the data. So since all the devices, all the destination addresses, it has to be same. So therefore what we do is, for all the cases, the destination we will make it all binary values is equal to 1. Okay, so therefore all binary values means what? FFFFFFFFF will be getting. So therefore the destination address, so in the source we will be mentioning it as FFFFFF. So through the use of this FFFFFF, so the receiver will get to know that, or the router will get to know that, okay, this information I should transmit to all the devices which are connected to this router. So based upon this I can able to establish this. So this is what about your broadcast addresses. Okay, so in your textbook they have given you one example. Okay, so what example they have given you? So they have given you an 48-bit means Ethernet LAN address. They have given you 48-bit address. They have given you, that is 6 bytes. Okay, so these 6 bytes are represented with a 12 hexagonal decimals separated by columns. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 hexagonal decimals. Okay, each are represented by 8 bits. Okay, so in this 8 bit you can see here the following is a multicast address. So on what basis you are going to say that the following is a multicast address? Is the least significant bit, you can see here F1, the least significant bit is having 1, so therefore it is called as a multicast address. So whereas in case of the example number 9.3, you can see here, since all the bits are 11111, means all the bits are FFFF only. So therefore we are going to say that this type of address we are going to call it as broadcast address. The first one is a unicast address, and the last second one we are going to call it as a broadcast address. Are you able to understanding what I am telling? Hello? Are you able to understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The next one is the data link layer. Means how we find the link address of the one particular node. So in order to know the link address of one particular node, we will be using one important protocol, that is nothing but ARP protocol. So through the use of this ARP protocol, I can able to find the logical address of a particular link. So what do you mean by ARP? ARP is nothing but address resolution protocol. Okay, see, when I want to transmit the data, I will be knowing only IP addresses of that source and IP addresses of the destination. But if I want to transmit the data for the subsequent devices, then I should know the logical addresses of it. Okay, so even though the transmitter and receiver will place an important role in transmitting the data, yes, Rameshri, any doubts? Rameshri, any doubts? Okay, so when we want to transmit the data from one entity to another entity, as I said, we should know the logical addresses. So if I don't know the logical addresses, means then it will be very difficult for us to transmit the data. So therefore, in order to know the logical address of the particular connection between one entity to another entity, we will be using one protocol called as a address resolution protocol. So through the use of this address resolution protocol, we can able to find out the link layer address of one device to another device. So you can see here, so the position, that is the address resolution protocol, will work in the network layer protocol. So along with the ICMP or IGMP, that is the Internet Control Message Protocol or Internet Gateway Message Protocol, Along with that IP address, that is a IP protocol, we will be using one more protocol, that is nothing but address resolution protocol. So through the use of this address resolution protocol, if I don't know the link of a particular link where I need to transmit the data, means then through the use of this ARP protocol, I can able to find out the logical link address of the protocols. Okay. Next, so you can see how you can get a ARP operation, or how this address resolution protocol works. So now you can see here the system A wants to send the trans data to the system B, but the system B, it is connected to one switch, but the system A doesn't know whether the system B is connected to switch or not, or the link whether it is there or not, the system A doesn't know through the switch. Okay, so therefore what it does is it will send one request message. Okay, so what request message it will send? So my system is, or my device is connected, the IP address of my device is N1 and I have connected through switch L1, but I want to know the IP address of the N2 device. I want to know the IP address of the into device. So what it does, it will broadcast the message to all its neighboring nodes which are connected. Okay, so that request will go to the N4L4 link, N3L3 link and N2L4 link. So the system B receives that request and it will get to know that, okay, the IP address what the system A is looking is mine, and I should provide the link whether I have connected to this switch or not. Yes, there is a link. What link is there? L2 link is there. So it will send and reply saying that I am the node and my link layer address is L2. So that reply specifically will be gone to the system A. So means what? It is a point-to-point communication. So the request will be broadcast communication, that is a broadcast message, whereas the reply from system B will be a point-to-point communication. So it is telling what reply it is giving is I am the node and my link layer address is L2. So through the use of this L2, the system A can transmit the data in the next hop count. Okay, so the next one is how this layering protocol. Okay, so how this layering protocol will be working. Okay, so we need to know. So that is nothing but your ARP protocol packet you need to know. So this is the data format of a automatic address resolution protocol. Okay, so this is the ARP packet framework. So you have a hardware type, protocol type, hardware length, protocol length, and operation. So which operation, whether you are going for a request operation or you are going for a reply operation. Okay, so along with that you will be having a source hardware address, source protocol address, and destination hardware address, and a destination protocol address. Okay, so this hardware type and protocol type, we have a complete detailed analysis in the next chapter. So those complete details analysis, so we will be explaining you in the next subsequent chapters. Okay, so but we will see how exactly this address resolution protocol will work. Okay, so the first one is, so you can see a system A and system B. So system A, what you can see here, the N1 L2. So you can see here ARP request, how it is having. It is having some hardware address and software address that is having. ARP request L1 N1 and all zeros. So since the system A doesn't know where exactly the link is there, whether to system B or not, but it is having IP address of system B. So therefore it is specifying system address, but it is not specifying the link. So therefore all zeros it will be having. So you can see it is a multicast or it may be a broadcast messages. So you can see how the multicast frame it is looking. The data, source address and the destination address, it is a multicast frame because it doesn't know whether which link that is the data is present or through which link the receiver is connected. So it doesn't know, therefore in multicast frame it is having. Next. Okay, so in next what you can see here, so after receiving a packet from system A, the system B what it does, so you can see here when it is sending the reply, it will attach the link to which it is connected to switch. So with what is the switch it is connected? It is connected through link L2. So therefore in the format, so instead of all zeros, it has been replaced by L2 link. Okay, so it will be unicast message. Why? Because The reply we need to give only to the specific system. So therefore it will be a unicast message. So you can see here who is the source. The source is a B, that is a receiver B, and who is the destination? The destination is a sender. So that is nothing but A. So it will forward the packet. Okay. Okay. Did you understood this one? Is that clear? Did you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next we will see how exactly the internet will work in our example. Okay. So now you can see here we have a, that is the same thing we have considered, but how exactly the network layer will act and how exactly the data link layer will work on this internet protocol from when I want to transmit the data from one transmitter to the receiver bob side. Okay. So what exactly how the data link layer will work and how the network layer will work, we will see it in this mechanism. Okay, so now you can see here the transmitter is Alice side and the receiver is Bob side. Okay, so we have a router 1. So the Alice is connected to the router 1 and there is a link from R1 to R2, that is a point to point network is there, and from router to the Bob which is connected. Okay, now you see here. So you can see here the Alice will receive the data from the transport layer. You can see the network layer. So this whatever we are talking about, it is in that you can see here the flow packet at the Alice computer. Alice computer is a transmitter. Okay. So in the transmitter you can see here in the network layer of the Alice, it will receive the data from transport layer. It will receive the data from transport layer and it is having a two addresses. So in the network layer I need to attach the IP addresses, right? So the IP addresses of the Alice is NA and the IP addresses of the Bob is NB. So that will be a data. So datagram means you can see here what is a datagram. Datagram is nothing but N1, NA is the source, NB is the receiver, and the data is we have received from the data means we have received from the whom we have received from the transport layer. So since I don't know what is the link which is connected to NB, okay, so what I will do is I will use the forward table. So that is a destination link where I have connected. So I will use it, which is link which is connected. So which is connected to the R1 router R1. So I should know the link where exactly the Bob's site is connected. So I will transmit or I will request to router 1. So you send me the link address of L2. Okay, or how I should transmit the data to R1. So the R1 will reply and reply it will give you. Okay, so it will say that okay, so you need to transmit the data to the link L1. Okay, so means what? ARP protocol we will be using R1. So the R1 will get to know the link of N1, L1 which is connected to LA. Okay, so now what data link layer will do? The data link layer will attach to which so the LA is and LA is attached to L1. So therefore it will frame the packet. You can see here L1 is the link which has been connected to router 1. LA is the link of the Alice in the transmitter, and NA, NB and data. It is the data which has been received from the network layer. So this frame will be converted into physical layer. So in the physical layer you can see here the frame will be converted into signal and this will be forwarded to router 1. Okay. So now the router 1. So this is the flow of packet at the router 1. So now router 1 what it has to see. So what is the next link I need to transmit? Okay. So what is the next link? I don't know where I need to transmit. So it will broadcast its message to the surrounding. So it will broadcast the message to the R2. Okay, so R2 what it does, it will give you a reply. So what is that? So there is a link is there, so you should transmit your data through L3. Okay, so therefrom from L2 to L3 you need to transmit the data. So that data will go to it and it will forward again through router 1. Okay, so now router 2, so what it does, so it will eliminate the L2 L4 and then data link layer. It will see which is the destination. The destination is NB, so you don't know what link it has been NB is connected, so it will transmit the request to Bob. So the Bob is connected to link LB, so the LB will be attached to L4 and this data will be reaches to the physical layer to the Bob. Okay, so as the Bob site what we have, so it will convert these frames into datas and datas into network layer, and through there the data will be transmitted the network layer.